Today, I'm going to be making the strongest character in the Bleach universe. Our character will be so strong that not even Aizen nor Yuhaba could beat him even if they teamed up. Also, before we get into the video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And also follow me on Twitch, I play Dragon Ball Legends. But anyways, on with the video. Now, we need to discuss some rules before we get into the traits. For the first rule of this video is that we can only choose a character one time, such as if we were to pick Ichigo's speed, we cannot pick him for strength, a special ability, or race. However, for the second rule of this video is that we'll be able to choose a trait from the same character only one time. Such as if we were to pick Rukia for strength, we can use that rule and use Rukia for intelligence. However, we can only use this rule only one time, so we have to use it carefully. Now, normally I'll start the video with potential. However, I'm going to be starting the video with race, and you'll see why later. And the candidates for this race is humans, Shinigamis, Quincy's, Hollows, and Fullbringers. Humans are out because they don't have any abilities. The first race that we can cover is Shinigamis. Shinigamis, also known as Soul Reapers, wield Zanpakutos and are the spirits of death. They also work to cleanse Hollows from their evil ways and rehabilitate them. They can also transform their Zanpakutos into two forms, a Bankai and a Shikai. Also, even if they don't have their Zanpakuto on them, or they can't use it at the moment, they can still use a variety of Hado techniques. The next candidate for race is a Quincy. A Quincy's primary ability is that they can absorb the spiritual pressure around them and use it for combat, with a ton of Quincy's being able to create weapons out of that spiritual pressure, with mainly being a bow. And some Quincy's, like Yahaba, are strong enough to create their own Osleian, with the Osleian ability being able to absorb all the spiritual energy from their opponent and erasing them from existence. The next candidate for our character's race is a Hollow. The strongest versions of Hollows are the Aran cards, with the strongest among them being the Espada, as the Espada possesses an ability called Resurrection, which boosts their strength, and they can shoot a powerful beam of spiritual energy called a Sparrow. Also, Hollows can harden their skin, which boosts their defense. And the final candidate for race are Fullbringers. Fullbringers are humans who possess the ability to manipulate the souls of other objects. And Fullbringers are born from their pregnant mother being attacked by a Hollow and surviving. And they gain a weapon that perfectly aligns with their personalities. Now, which one of these races do we choose for our character? Well, why not choose all of them by choosing a hybrid of all of them combined? Now, there are two candidates for a hybrid, and that is Ichigo Kurosaki and Kurozi Kurosaki. However, I am going to choose Kurozi over Ichigo, as I want to save Ichigo for a later trait, and I don't want to waste my double card on him. So by choosing Kurozi, our character is a hybrid of all race. Now, here's why we chose race for our first trait to cover. And that is, we have to cover all the abilities for each race that we're in. So the second trait that we have to cover is a Shinigami ability. And the strongest Shinigami ability that I know is Aizen's illusion manipulation. Aizen can change any of the five senses, deceiving both the eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and hands. He even makes his opponents question reality itself and even confuse which is real and which is fake. So our character's Shinigami ability is Aizen's illusion manipulation. And the next trait is Quincy ability. And I have two candidates for this trait. The first candidate for our character's Quincy ability is Joar's Miracle Creation. This allows him to create and harness miracles in the most hopeless situations. But this second candidate, and the candidate I'm going to choose, is Yahaba's Almighty Eye. This eye gives him the ability to see in the future and choose which future he wants. So our character's Quincy ability is Yahaba's Eye ability. For the next trait for our character is a Hollow ability, and I'm going to be choosing Baragon's Decay ability. This ability is extremely broken, as it can rot anything that it comes in contact with. So our character's Hollow ability is Baragon's Decay. Now, our character will need a Fullbringer ability. And we have 3 candidates for this trait. The first candidate is Yuki's ability to use his game console as a world, which in this world, he is all powerful and can manipulate reality, time, and space. Gariko's Fullbringer ability allows him to manipulate time with his watch. He sets a time within his opponent, and if the opponent does not do anything with that time, his opponent will be destroyed. And for our third and final Fullbringer ability is Tsukishima's Book of the End. This ability is a sword that allows them to manipulate the memories of their opponents. Now, out of these 3 Fullbringer abilities, which one should we pick? I think I lean more to the Book of End ability, where we can cut through a person's memory. So our character's Fullbringer ability is the Book of the End. The next race ability is a human ability, and there's only one option for this trait, as humans don't really have abilities. And that is Orihime's ability to nullify phenomenons, as Orihime can reject or reverse the action as it did not exist in the first place. Her special ability can also be used as a defense to all situations. So our character's human ability is Orihime's nullification. Now, our character will need a Shikai. And which Shikai should we choose? Well, I'm going to use my one-time double card and use Aizen's Shikai, Kanzen Simon. Now, before you say I wasted my double card, let me stop you right there. Aizen can still use his powers even without his Shikai. So if we lose our Shikai, we can still use Aizen's powers. But Shatter isn't his only ability for Shikai. He also possesses reality warping, which allows him to alter events, and possesses soul manipulation, which he can absorb them to enhance his power. So our character's Shikai is Aizen's Shikai. Now, the next trait for our character to have is Bankai, and there are 2 options, Ichigo's Bankai and Yamato's Bankai. The first candidate for our character's Bankai is Yamamoto. Yamamoto's Bankai has 4 forms. Its East form, which it can burn anything it cuts. His West form, where his body is covered in fire that is hotter than the sun, and no one can touch him without being disintegrated. His South form, which creates an army of zombies that Yamamoto has killed with his Bankai. And his North form, which incinerates anything he cuts. Yamamoto's sword is even known as the strongest Bankai in the Soul Society. And this next trait is Ichigo's Bankai, Tensu Zangetsu. Tensu Zangetsu is probably one of my favorite swords in all of anime, let alone all of fiction, as I have this sword in real life. However, I cannot be biased when it comes to this, as I'm trying to make the strongest character in all of Bleach. But this sword is extremely powerful, as even Yahaba destroyed it as he did not want to face it. But between the 2 Bankais, I'm going to have to choose Yamamoto's Bankai over Ichigo's Bankai, as I still want to save Ichigo for a later trait. So our character's Bankai is Yamamoto's Bankai. Next trait for our character to have is a tool. And I got just the one, a medallion. A medallion can steal, seal, or use another person's Bankai. And since we're making the strongest character in Bleach, I am going to not only be taking 2, not 3, but 4 medallions. Meaning our character can now wield up to 4 more Bankais. Now, the first of these 4 Bankais I'm choosing is Ichigo Kurosaki's Tensu Zangetsu Bankai. This sword was so strong that in its true form, that Yahaba had to destroy it as he did not want to face it. So our second Bankai that our character uses is Ichigo Kurosaki's Tensu Zangetsu. The next Bankai our character will use is Ichimonji wielded by Ichibei. With this, our character can alter someone's abilities by changing their name to something else. And sometimes, our character can even erase someone from existence by changing their name. So, our character now wields Ichimonji from Ichibei. The next sword for our character to wield is Shinji's Bankai, or better known as Yokashima. Yokashima has the ability to reverse space and can reverse the directions of their opponent, such as up is down is up, left is right is left, fast forward is backwards, and backwards is fast forward. So now our character uses Yokashima. And the final Bankai for our character to wield is Toshiro's Bankai, Daigoren Hayomaru. as this Bunkai is able to freeze anything into solid ice. And that's about it for all these special traits. Now we need to go on to our standard traits. So the first of the standard traits is strength. So whose strength are we choosing? And that would be Kenpachi, as Kenpachi became a captain before he even had his Zanpakuto. He's one of the strongest Shinigami, and also don't forget his uncontrolled Bankai state. He can kill opponents just by sheer force alone. So our character's strength is Kenpachi's. The next trait for our character to have is speed, and that character is none other than Yoriichi. Yoriichi is faster than sound, and in her God of Thunder form, she's even faster than light itself. She is so fast that she was given the title as the Goddess of Flash. So our character now has the speed of Yoriichi. The next trait for our character to have is intelligence, and there are two options for this trait: Mayori and Kitsuki. Mayori is the definition of a mad scientist in the world of Bleach. Mayori is able to modify his body in different circumstances and situations. He can create clones and he can create artificial life. And he's the leader of the Soul Society's Research Institute. And the next candidate for this trait is Kitsuki. Kitsuki proven to be the smartest out of the Soul Society and the outside world as well. He is so smart that even Aizen himself that he was more intelligent than he was. So which one of these characters are we going to pick for intelligence? Well, out of the two, Kitsuki is stated to be smarter. However, I'm going to be choosing Moriya as I want to save Kitsuki for a later trait. So our character is as smart as Moriya. Now, for the next trait is Battle IQ, as intelligence would be nothing if our character doesn't know what to do in a fight. So the only candidate for this trait and the character we saved for from intelligence is Kitsuki. And as I said before, Kitsuki is smarter than Aizen when it comes to battle IQ. And Aizen just planned the entire anime as we all know it. So if Kitsuki is smarter, that's just insane. So our character's battle intelligence will be Kitsuki. The next trait for our character to have is spiritual pressure. And there is only one good option for our character to have, and that is the Soul King. As the Soul King has unlimited spiritual pressure. So our character now has the spiritual pressure of the Soul King. And the final trait for our character to have is a special ability. So we can choose a second ability from a race that we did not choose. And the special ability I'm choosing is the Visionary wielded by Gremmy, as Gremmy has the ability to use his imagination and turn it into reality. And he can do anything with a mere thought. So our character's special ability is the Visionary. And there it is, the strongest character in Bleach. Also, please subscribe to the channel as it took me hours to make this video. Also, follow me on Twitch, I play games on there. And also, comment down below on who do you think the strongest character in Bleach could be. And I'll see you in the next one.